Welcome to Architect of Tomorrow. We don't just write code here, we design the systems that run the world.
All right, let's dive into a massive problem that anyone building with AI is facing right now. You have this brilliant, smart agent, but when it messes up, how in the world do you figure out why? We're going to talk about why these agents are such a black box and how a totally new approach is finally prying that box open. Let's get into it.
So this is the question, isn't it? The one that keeps you up at night. Your super sophisticated multi-step AI agent, the one that's supposed to be changing the game for your company, is just failing. Out there, in production. But why? Well, the answer is a whole lot messier than you might think. Picture this. It's 3 a.m. The pager goes off. That gut-wrenching feeling. Something has gone catastrophically wrong. An autonomous agent made a decision that just vaporized $500,000 of company money. Your boss is already blowing up your phone, demanding an explanation, and you have to find one, fast. So you do what you always do, right? You jump into your logs, your dashboards, all your usual tools. But you realize almost immediately you're dealing with a totally new kind of failure, one that your entire toolkit was just never, ever designed to see. And here's the absolute heart of the problem. All our observability tools were built for the world of microservices. And microservices are deterministic. You put an input in, you get a predictable output. It's a nice, simple, easy-to-follow chain of events. But AI agents? They are the complete opposite. They're non-deterministic. The very same input can spit out wildly different outputs because the agent is following some complex internal reasoning path that changes every time. So this is what you find in your logs. A few lines. It tells you that a decision happened, but it gives you zero insight into the why. It's like trying to figure out why a plane crashed by only knowing 2 facts. It took off, and then it landed. Badly. For debugging, this is completely and utterly useless. These are the questions that are actually screaming in your head. What was the agent's internal monologue? Why did it pick this action over all the other possibilities? What specific pieces of information was it looking at when it made that disastrous call? With traditional tools, you are flying completely, terrifyingly blind. Okay, so how do we fix this nightmare? We have to make a huge shift. We need to stop staring at useless logs and start understanding the agent's actual logic. And that requires a whole new way of thinking about observability, one built from the ground up for AI. Let's make this really concrete. Imagine you've got an AI customer support agent. It reads a customer's angry email, checks their account history, scans the knowledge base, and then decides what to do. In this case, it decides to issue a $5,000 refund. No verification, no human check. Amazing for the customer, absolutely terrible for the company's bottom line. Okay, look at this. On the left, you've got that useless, familiar log. But on the right, oh man, on the right is the AI native trace. And suddenly, it's like someone turned the lights on. You see everything. The agent's reasoning was literally, the customer seems really mad, so I'm going to multiply the standard $500 fix by 10. You can see its confidence was only 73%. And this is so important. You see the other options it considered, but threw away. This right here, this is what we're talking about. It's called an AI native decision event. It's this rich, structured record that captures the whole story. It's not just about what the agent did, it's about its entire thought process, the context it had, the reasoning it followed, the alternatives it considered, and even how sure it was about its choice. And this just changes the entire game. The failure isn't some deep, dark mystery anymore. It's an equation. It's a simple, solvable problem. You can look at this and say, I see. The agent acted with only 0.73 confidence. For a refund this big, that threshold needs to be 0.95. You can make the fix, deploy it, and know that this specific error will never happen again. So what does it actually take to build a system that gives you this kind of superpower? Well, it really boils down to 5 foundational pillars, 5 key ideas that make all of this AI native tracing possible. Let's run through them real quick. First, you've got semantic tracing. This is all about capturing the why, the reasoning, not just that a function was called. Second, decision trees, which are so crucial because they show you the paths the agent didn't take. Third, context windows, so you can see the exact slice of reality the agent was looking at. Fourth, confidence scores, to actually quantify the agent's certainty. And finally, number 5, reproducibility, which lets you replay the whole disastrous scenario in a safe place to test your fix. And let's just zoom in on that decision tree for a second, because it's so powerful. Instead of a single straight line of events like in old logs, an AI native trace shows you the branches. You can see the agent analyze the input, came up with 3 potential options, assigned a confidence score to each, and then chose one. For the first time, you can really understand why it picked option 2 over option 1 or 3. And here's where it gets mind-blowing. All of this data becomes something you can query. You can literally ask your system questions like, hey, show me every single decision that was made with less than 60% confidence. Or you can simulate changes. What would have happened if we had required 90% confidence for this decision? How much money would that have saved us last month? The answers are finally right there. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't just some cool academic idea. This technology is creating a brand new, absolutely massive market. And you can bet the biggest names in tech are already placing their chips. Look at that number, $50 billion. That is the estimated size of the AI native observability market just a few years from now. This is not a niche little tool. This is becoming a fundamental, non-negotiable layer of the entire AI stack. And of course, the major players are already on the move. Datadog, New Relic, the giants of the old observability world. They're pivoting hard into this space. The actual AI companies like Anthropic are building this stuff in from day one. And you've got specialized tools like Langsmith popping up to focus only on this problem. The race is definitely on. But you might be asking, does this actually work in the real world? Oh yeah, it works. Take a look at Uber. After they rolled out AI native tracing, they were able to pinpoint these low confidence decisions and cut their agent failures by a staggering 45%. That is a huge, tangible impact on their business. And they are not alone. That fix at Uber, it translated to over $2 million in savings every year. Stripe built a similar system for their fraud agents and prevented over $15 million in losses. And Amazon is using these traces as a feedback loop to constantly make their agents safer and smarter. The results just speak for themselves. So let's bring this all back to you. Why does this matter to you right now, today? Because we are at the absolute beginning of this wave. If you learn these principles now, you are positioning yourself to build the next generation of essential developer tools. You'll be solving what is arguably the #1 problem in agent safety. You will seriously differentiate your skills. If you wait, this just becomes another commodity tool you have to learn to keep up. The real advantage goes to the people who get in early. I want to leave you with this one final thought. For years, we've kind of accepted this black box nature of our AI systems. But as these agents get more and more powerful, more autonomous, that's just not acceptable anymore. The new standard has to be explainability. If you can't explain why your agent made a decision, especially a costly one, then maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't have deployed it in the first place.